See if how fast this gets up here or not. Because I need to get everything handled. Hey, your average girl, how you doing? So, I'm trying to get this set up so that I have my one screen shared. Hold that thought. Get my other monitor set up here. Monitor capture. And let's see here. Let's go to that one. Here we are. I think I got this right. I need to adjust this. Say okay. Put that up there. There we go. Got that out of the way. So, dun, dun, dun. Oh, that's okay. No worries. Hey, party till you die, you know, that kind of thing. All right. Hey, it's Angel Muniz. How are you? How are the rest of the NCAB 7 is live now? Good Lord! Asked Sister Amberler. Oh no, that's an old thing. Never mind. I'm getting all my notifications here coming up. Let's clear all that. Oi. Oh man, talk about a crazy night tonight. Just getting up and trying to get everything handled, and I'm just out of it. Kind of knackered. All right, so let me see if I can get this side-by-side set up here where I want to do this. So let's do, everybody's going to kind of see me do some of this stuff on the fly. So I'm going to do this, and everything's going to slightly adjust in time, but I need to make it so that we can have this so that people can kind of see everybody there. And I can do this. This is the neat thing, is that I can adjust all this stuff while you guys kind of watch, which makes it a little easier. So the taskbar will disappear. There we go. And everybody can see down at the bottom all of that there, and everything up in the top. I have the URL kind of hidden there. Good, 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 good. And now I'm going to make me appear. So, camera. There I am, visibly there. There we go. Actually, I'll do that side by side. There we are. It's a little better. So I'm actually kind of trying to do some of this to show people as to how you can have stuff side by side. And have it so that if anybody wants to display something or have something seen, this can make it so that it's easier all the way around. So there's nothing visible. Oh, for the love of Pete. I'm trying to make it so that I can get this to kind of hide. Kind of. But still have stuff floating so you can get into it and watch. I think I can get this to work out. I think I'm going to have to just leave it at that. But this is where you can kind of do stuff. I'm doing this so that way that people can kind of look at the screen here, look at me down here. And then on top of that, what I can do is I'm going to do another screen capture.
Honestly, don't forget to invite new people.
I threw that information to her specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me do this to where I have... Well, she's going to bed. She's heading to bed here. Yeah, she's got to get up early in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over here, do that like that, minimize that, and then I'm going to make another monitor share happen in the background so that what I do is not only do I have Hangouts up and I'm broadcasting this was a private Hangouts that I did, and now I'm broadcasting myself. What I'm going to do is on the Hangouts here, I will set my camera to... Is it this one, I think? I think it's this one. There we go. So done. So now I have my Hangouts camera down on the bottom here for people to see me in Hangouts. But at the same time, they'll actually be able to have me out on the stream so they can show this. So what I'm going to do now is I will add another monitor capture. Or source mirror. How did I get that one to pop out here? That was that. Oh yeah, that's right. Display capture. There we are. Monitor number 3. And so we're going to say okay. and we will go right over here 3. Say okay. I'm going to put this as down below everything, and then put that in the background. And now we have that going on in the background, so now we've actually got something that's showing all of that in one shot, and everybody can see it. So that's how I actually make it so that I have more than one thing popped up. Whoops, had the window pop up there. So you can actually see background stuff that I have over here, as well as the two windows are independent of each other. So I can move them or change them however I want. I figured I'd kind of show that real quick. That's stuff doing it on the fly. Now normally we'd have it set up so that you could see it immediately and allow you to kind of pop in. Like I can bring up that window again and everybody can see what that was, but I can pull it over to another monitor and it's not that big of a deal. But I actually have two monitor shares going on right now. So the wallpaper here, and over here I have Hangouts. And these are my other two monitors. And then my central monitor is where I have all the magic that's going on for OBS, or I'm looking at my stream live. So if this is something that people wanted to know more about or actually have any idea about how to do it, part of this is it requires two cameras. You have to have two cameras to make this work. You can't do it any other way. Without the two cameras, it's not going to fly. So that's just a heads up for people who are trying to make this work and figure it out. One, so that you can actually have it for the Hangouts, but you don't necessarily have to have the camera for Hangouts, although it does help for people who are looking at you. You want to at least have something maybe in your avatar for Hangouts to pop up, if you only have one camera, to make it so that people can see you like this. Oh, I was pointing at the wrong. This one. So if you wanted to have it so that set up, I'm trying to have it so it's two cameras just to be polite to the other guests in Hangouts, so they have something other than just this, because they're not necessarily looking at the chat. Like I have to have, in order to look at the chat, I'm bringing up YouTube, but I have to mute that tab and then look at it, and I do the muting of the tab in Firefox. Google Chrome, I had to get an extension so I could do a quick keystroke to mute the tab, otherwise you mute the entire site. It's kind of still trying to figure all that out. This is a slow process of learning, but as I'm going along, I'll share it with people who want to know. Other than that, I was going to say, I don't think there's anything necessary there. 3 watching now. I know that one is my beloved wife, and the other one is Angel, which is on my channel right now with Hangouts. But this is, again, how I can make it so that people can join in to the Hangouts, share it, and still have stuff going on in the background, so that if anything else wanted to go on, if I even wanted to share something in the top left over here, I can leave this window open, and let's see here. Like I'll try and bring up another set of pictures here real quick or something like that, like I was talking in Nike Girls situation. So like if I wanted to share a wallpaper that I think is really nice, let's see here. We'll find this one. This is a pretty one. We'll go with this one. So if I wanted to share this, I could put this up top left over here. So like let's make it so I can do this, and I can shrink it down, and now you guys can kind of see that. And that makes it so you can actually review what I'm trying to show you. Or if I wanted to, I could put it down in the bottom right, and you could see it over here, all while still allowing you to see everything else in the window. So if I wanted to share something, let me bring it up this way a little bit better there. So now you guys can see the actual wallpaper. So you can still share things in the other parts of the screen ad hoc or impromptu, or however you want to put it. You can actually show it on the fly. And that way it makes it easier. And if you have to silence things out temporarily, like I actually have the mic I use there, but if I wanted to not show myself, I could turn me off and then bring this over so everybody can see a little bit better picture for what that is. There's neat ways of doing this. I'm hoping to try and get some stuff together for a tutorial on some of this, kind of like how Green Bay Wacky did. And lots of props to him. He did a good job with that video. He's the one that helped me get this far. I just want to take it a little bit further, although I'm going to start with the basics on some of this. So it's not impossible to set this up and get it to put out there and still have the cameras rise and drop. Again, I can drop out Hangouts really easy as well. So that's monitor capture too. So that disappears, but I can still make it so that it actually presents itself. I also need to do the audio for desktop capture. I just remembered I needed another one for that. So audio output capture, and we'll do this as desktop audio. Oops, get my hands to type here. Do that. And then it's going to say for the device, we're going to say we want to have the... Oh, let's see here. There we go. And use device, that's fine. So now I have the desktop audio. So if I wanted to sit there and say that I have anybody talking, they should be able to come through just fine. Should. But I don't have, I don't know, Angel, if you can speak for just a moment and have anything come up. I know you have it on mute. But just say something real quick to say hello. I don't know, dear, do you want to try and unmute? Oh, okay, there you go. I'm going to listen here real quick to see if the stream works on YouTube. Nope, actually it didn't come through at all, and I'm trying to figure that part out. All right, so that's still something I'm working on, but it's there. So we can actually have it come up. So as I'm trying to figure this stuff out, I'll get a handle on this and hopefully have it so that it does work, so I would hope. Again, part of this is that it's just trying to make everything work the way I want it to. And I'm wondering why that just does not want to work for some reason. Advanced audio properties. I don't see why that's not wanting to work here. Again, it's just, it's a hit or miss on some of this. Desktop audio. Trying to see if I can figure out why it didn't want to work. Speakers, face, speakers, audio. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Speakers, face, I'm gonna hear myself twice because I have the. Oh, there! I think I heard you. Go ahead and speak again, Angel.
Okay.
I hear myself twice because I have the.
Is it working?
Oh, there! I think I heard you. Go ahead and speak again, Angel.
Okay.
I hear myself. Yes, I hear you now. I have the.
Good.
Okay, so we got it fixed. We got it fixed. All right, fantastic. So that was one that I had to make sure that I got right. And again, it's a lot of it has to do with the desktop audio, making sure that it's 100%. Let me back that down just a bit here, so that way, because I know some people can be just a little loud, so I'm going to back it down to about 4 dB. There we go. That should help. But this is, again, how you can present and actually have more than one thing with OBS. Now, this is regular OBS, not Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS makes things a little bit simpler, but there are some issues with it that makes it difficult because the plugins aren't the same. I'm actually trying to make it so I have certain plugins that allow me to have 3D effects as well as different ways of presenting material for fonts and whatnot like that. And I'm still, once I can figure that out and do some tests myself, I'll do it with recordings rather than streams. But this I wanted to do live so that people could see it's not impossible to do. There's no real magic. It's just about how things are set and understanding how to do so. But I did it on the fly just to kind of tease you, and that way if anybody has questions as they're watching, they can ask them. Or if, you know, again, there's only a few people watching at the moment, and that's fine. No big deal. I'm not worried about it if there's only like 1 or 2. This is something that people can come back later and take a look at. But this also still allows for the possibility of like transition screens. Again, in the beginning when I had the starting soon screen, I'll show real quick. You won't hear anything, but everybody who's watching it on Facebook, or I mean YouTube, God, I'm tired. And I just woke up. Anybody who's watching this on YouTube can see the transition screens. They just won't hear us at all at the moment. And that is, I'm going to do the Be Right Back one. So that's how it looks like when you do Be Right Back. Like if you had to do a station break for a moment and say, hey, you know, I got to go for a smoke or I got to use a washroom or something like that. You just got to go, you know, phone call comes in, it's important. You have to answer, something like that. Another one is if you're ending your stream and you want it to end with a different note rather than just cutting it off at the end of the video, which I'm going to try and do with this one, is this one. And it'll be quiet for just a moment and then we'll come right back. And that's just to show what an ending screen would look like if you wanted to end it proper. So there are different transitions you can do within OBS, and then you can just click on them and go. There's also keystrokes you can do if you want to do it, but my mouse is ultra quiet. This is a really nice mouse. This is even glows and goes through different color transitions here. But this thing is really, really quiet. When I click on these things, you can't even hear it, which is why I use the mouse. For some people, they have to use their keyboard, and it can make a click, which maybe they don't want to hear, and you have to get a quiet keyboard to try and get past that. But that's why I use the mouse for what it is, and I can see exactly where I'm at. Also, if you're wanting to transition in your guests like it is right now with Angel on here, my wife's also watching. Initially, you could go straight to just you're here, just like Green Bay Wacky was talking about. And then once you have everybody set up, you can click back on the side by side and it shows up. So it's not impossible. You're not able to see OBS, but I'm just showing you the transitions before anything would happen. But to get to the actual transitions and how it would look is an entirely different screen, and I'll share that later. But we're just kind of talking for right now. Again, just as a teaser for those who want to watch. I'll change the title of this. Again, this was rather just kind of a last-minute thing for me to stream. Nike Girl had done hers, and we got off of her channel, and I figured, well, you know what, let's go ahead and fire this up and make it so we can get out here and show people some interesting stuff about this. And, you know, these tutorial types of things should be just rather, they should be friendly like this. We shouldn't have it to where it's all about, you know, hi, I'm going to make money off it. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not even monetizing my channel. Not for this. This channel is not monetized. I don't make anything off of this. I don't expect donations. This is me just talking to share with people because I already have what I need in my heart and my mind that I want to share, and I'd rather give that infinitely because it didn't cost me anything other than the time to read or listen to other people. So let's just do the same thing here. For other channels that I want to start up, I'll monetize those, but those are a different matter and for something else later. And I'm not going to let anybody know, again, because of the fact that I want to keep that quiet. That's kind of a thing that I'm protecting my family by nobody really knowing what that is in advance. I know that sounds a little selfish, but I have to think of my family because my political opinions will be voiced in that, and they may not even be on YouTube because of the way that the censorship of YouTube has been. So it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They want to do that. That's up to them. That's cool. I mean, I'm not going to stop them, but I probably will go elsewhere for that one. Again, it's a possibility of mines, maybe a library, maybe even DTube. But I'm also trying to make sure I can do live streaming for that. Because of what I want to present or how I want to talk. And I do want to plan on doing panels with that, but it's an entirely different matter, again, to protect my family. And I'd be bringing on experts and people that I know professionally and politically that I would be bringing into the chat at that point for presentation of materials that are very heavy-handed and nothing I would expect anybody to want to just, you know, say, hey, lightly, oh yeah, let me jump in and make my own comment, because people's emotions could be in there, and I'm not wanting to go with that. So out of respect, that's what that is. But otherwise, for this stuff, I will bring in as many people as I possibly can to have them come up and do the panels, talk about whatever it is with either OBS or the spiritual stuff that I know, trying to help people, you know, figure themselves out. And again, like I may not know the answer. I didn't know an answer last time, and I said, I don't know. We need to get you to talk to somebody else, because at that point in time, we need to help you with that. That's what I try to do. Other than that, just like Angel being up here and my wife being up here, this is how we can have and share what's what. Now, there are other ones that I got to do that Green Bay Wacky was doing it. So instead of Google Hangouts being like this, where it's up in the top right, I did that real quick because I forgot, yeah, the call was in there. Once this is over with, that call will be done, and I'll be moving on to one. So after the stream it's over with, I'll be able to put on another secure situation, but I'll be doing a window capture instead of a screen capture. Like this one over here is actually my monitor to my left, but the one that's my wallpaper over here is the monitor to my right, and so that way I can actually isolate. So, but when I do the window capture, that doesn't matter which monitor that's on, whereas the display capture is specific to this. Hi, beloved. Hey, I like that one. I haven't seen you wear that in a long time. That's beautiful, just like you are. Actually, you're more beautiful than that, but that's beside the point. So here we are with this, so that people can see what's going on with how I've got this slightly set up. And again, it's that we have the comments, we have, you know, you can still see some of this, etc., which is fine, no big deal. I'm not upset that people can see that. This is just, again, more of an example of what can be done rather than worrying about what it has to be for, you know, presentation. This isn't like a, you know, I have to make a perfect video here. This is about, if you're trying to do this and you see me setting it up and it looks awkward, guess what? That's okay. You're learning, I'm showing you what I've learned. And it makes it easier for you. Other people may be curious as to, well, how does this look on OBS and how is this supposed to be presented? Well, I can bring OBS right over here and you can see it in the background, and there I am. And then what I can do is just turn things off, like I can turn off, both of these here. Whoops, not that one. And this, and you can see OBS in the background just fine, but this is the screen capture, so it doesn't look right. But if I bring it over here and I do some other stuff where there's, for the background as to how it is, I can change that up. I also don't have to do this way. I can actually make this a movie playing in the background all the time rather than doing whatever. Which one was this one? I think this is... I'm not sure which one. I'm going to try and change this up. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to make this go away for the background. So I'm going to get rid of monitor 3. And now I have, this is an actual movie in the background that's playing. So I can put my mouse over on monitor 3 where you would expect, and guess what? It doesn't show up. And that's how you can actually get that to work out. So there's a movie playing in the background that does this, so that if I wanted to move that around, as you can see, that can move all independently, but that's a movie outside of what I've got.
Hey, PJ.
What we got? Let me see what we got. Hang on.
PJ.
All right, hold on. Oh, hey, there's known by PJ. Hey, how are you? Boys and their toys, yeah. Well, at the same time, one of these things is trying to make it so that we had in Nike Girls stream, people were asking about how am I able to do what I'm doing with transition screens or making it so that it sets up for doing their channel better. We had, 54, or what was it? I forgot.
Punchy.
Yeah, Punchy. God, I can't remember her name. For some reason, I'm horrible with names at times. I really am. And she was asking about how I was able to present wallpaper or pictures, because she's got all these great... I mean, she presented one that was a deer. I swear to God it was a picture. I swear to God it was a picture. But it was her painting. And it looked so real, it blew my mind. And with that, she wanted to know how could she put it up there. So this is the same thing with this picture in the background. Even if I got rid of it, or if I moved myself, let's say that I took me and I moved myself up and I move this down here, I can then change the background from this. Let's see here if I can do this real quick. I need to find a picture real fast. Hold on. Yes, I know. No, I'm trying to find something that's like one of the wallpapers I had up. Actually, this one is from a game called Subnautica, which is actually a really pretty picture. Let me put this over here. And then I'm going to add here a window capture. And then I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I will do... Here we go. I think it should capture it. I think. Whether or not it does or does not. Good Lord. But I should be able to get it to capture. I'm trying to get it to capture. Why is that not wanting to do that? Huh. I'm not sure why that doesn't want to capture. Alright, that's something I'll have to work on to see why that is. So that didn't work out the way I would hope. Alright, well, it happens. Again, I make mistakes in trying to make it work out, but again, this shows people as to how the difficulty of some of this stuff for people is there, and I'm trying to show that even if I'm having difficulty, and I've been in the computing world since easily well before, oh God, I graduated high school 90, so let's see here. I think I started really hot and heavy into it when I was 15 with a Commodore 64, and then it was the Mac SE30. And then from there, once I got into the service, we started dealing with things like IBM clones that were the, oh God, these were like 8086s, 286s. That stuff is really old. 386s. And we were getting into stuff like Novell networks, things like that. I know I'm talking really highfalutin stuff at times for people who don't know the old stuff. But this is where we have the ability to share this now. And if I'm having this kind of difficulty to figure it out, it wasn't meant to be easy at this point in my eyes. Sometimes they make it so no longer intuitive that they're only doing it for people who are going to either pay for it, or they're trying to keep people who are wanting to do small stuff like myself and only allow, like the way that things are going on, that only large syndicated TV channels or news channels can actually get out there. I mean, that's fine. If they want to do that, that's fine. But some of us who are smarter than the average bear are going to figure this out and share it in a way that it's easy for you guys to figure out. And that's what I want to do, as well as talk about the things that, again, if you're having difficulty, like I helped somebody who was having a bit of a panic attack. I was on a live stream and they were having a real difficult time with a panic attack, and I was able to talk them down by teaching them a breathing exercise right there and there once I reached through to them. Calming voice, the whole approach with that. So I'm still trying to do that. No, I know, known by PJ. I wouldn't blame you if that's how you want to go. No sweat. I'm not going to fault you for that. That's totally understandable. But this is where, again, if I present it and people want to know, there it is. If it makes it interesting, but you still don't want to do it, no big deal. Hey, at least I made it interesting for you. But again, this channel that I'm doing, I have no intention of monetizing this in any way because I'm okay. There are other ones that I do want to monetize, but this one is purely about the charity of trying to offer things up for what I know. And if it makes it easier, then great. Eventually, as I said, other channels will, though. And I have to keep, as I said, those quiet for the reasons of safety of my family, because there are people who like to dox and do all kinds of stupid stuff. So, well, hello, Herman.
Hello, Sean. How are you?
It's been
Doing okay?
I had a horrible time trying to stay awake this afternoon. Unfortunately, with the gout that I have, that what it does to me is I tend to get really fatigued really easily, and I will pass out generally in my chair sometimes for, as I said in another session here with Nike Girl, I will pass out for 2 hours sometimes in my chair and not even know it until I wake up. So it's not like narcolepsy where you just fall asleep automatically, but it's just like I'm so tired I'll lay back and go, okay, I'll just rest my eyes for a minute and then I'm out.
Right.
But I was actually asleep for about 7 hours. I just laid down and it was like I was just completely just so exhausted. I think the best way to say it is I'm knackered.
There we go. There we go.
And kaput the whole bit with that. But this is where I
Hey,
I try.
Herman, before I can get it word in edgewise.
Hey, Amber. Hey, this is Sean's stream, Amber.
Well, that's okay. I can shut up real fast. I can just go like this.
Herman, let me tell you something. I have to tell him to shut the hell up at times. I'm like, hey, Joe, let me fucking talk for once.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she kind of gets me real fast with that one because if I don't, she says I'm like a woman. I talk more than her. But that's part of it, I think, is...
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't think, dear, I don't think was I this talkative before in high school?
Sean,
Yeah.
Sean, hurry up and just keep talking. Keep going.
Yeah, keep talking. Well, it really helped in the world of radio. You kind of have to keep talking.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's people don't understand that when you're behind the mic too. There's a lot of pressure to try and just be entertaining because you don't have here. I can scroll down and see how many listeners there are. Like we have 5 watching now, supposedly.
Right.
I know I'm already one of them because I have to bring this up so I can see the chat. This version of OBS I have does not have chat.
Right.
I could bring up a widget that does that, but I really want to keep that kind of down to a dull roar for what I have on the screen. Like if I wanted to bring this up and I wanted to do something over here, I'm trying to keep it so that the real estate of the screen is kept to certain things.
I know, guys.
Yeah, the cats need to be fed. So the way that I'm trying to present this is about making it so that it's a little bit gentler. Like when I do the live streams now, as you can see, I have the wallpaper going now. This is the kind of stuff I want to have playing in the background at all times to make it so it's easier for people to, when they hear me talk, they've got something gentle to look at. So like I can turn off the monitor capture of everybody will still be able to hear you. So I can turn off this and everybody can still be heard. But like if I'm doing a chat or something like that and people want to see what I'm doing, but I want to give them something soft and gentle to look at while I'm talking, it's easier on them. I want them to feel comfortable and take the load off their mind. I want them to be at peace. But I can turn that back on here so that way I can show what's going on. But it still gives that essence of, this is what we're talking about. Yes, my wife can swear like a sailor and still we can be a little bit more gentle in our approach to people.
No,
regardless
Sean,
of what it is.
no, soft and gentle. You're not talking about your face. I hope not. I mean,
No, actually, my presentation of faith is very direct
No
about.
face. No
Oh, my
face.
face. Oh God. Psh.
Yeah, your face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the face for radio. I already know that.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was
No.
blinded by your face. It's okay.
Yeah. No, but my personal faith, though, about certain
Yeah.
things, I'm not so gentle on some things with that either because it's about my brutal honesty with myself. Now, let me
Right.
make that very clear. I have no problem telling you my failings and easily, but that's because I am brutally honest with myself to improve myself. Do I have an anger? Yeah. Retarded anger, bad anger, stupid anger. I am a
Yeah.
moron when it comes to getting my flair, and I just man, I don't put a foot or a shoe in my mouth. I put a whole shoe store
Right.
easily.
Yeah.
And I call myself on that. I know I have this problem. And that's why I work very hard to correct it. I'm also brutally honest on the fact that there are times it's very frustrating because of I know that with my wife being in menopause, our intimacy moments are very limited because she has almost zero interest most times. So I have to be very understanding of her problem of she just has no now does she want interest? She's like, yeah, it'd be kind of nice because at least I'd feel something, but right now I feel nothing. And
Right.
so I really have to put myself in that situation of trying to understand where she's coming from. But that doesn't take away. I mean, it's been said, Plato has said that once a man's had sex, it's like being chained to a madman because you have such a hard urge, no pun intended, to push forward the interest of, procreation. That instinct just doesn't go away for some of us. Unless, of course, you're, dead inside, I guess, or, maybe there's something else that's controlling you. I know a gentleman who's got a horrible alcohol addiction, and his wife, I guess, if you want to call it common law, has said to me that he has no interest in her whatsoever.
Wow.
And because he's more interested in the alcohol, but she loves him dearly, so she does what she can. Does that mean she has her own way of kind of handling her business for herself, that doesn't require her to go outside of the relationship? Yes. And I've talked to her about it. My wife's talked to her about it. It's like, you got to do what you got to do to try and make things work. But, just, if you wanted to stay loyal, we feel for you on that one. But this is where, again, for my wife, I stay loyal to her. We have ways of working around the problem, and we talk about it. Ultimately, the relationship that we have is a good example is that we talk to each other. Yeah, we kid each other, and sometimes we're a little hard on each other, but that's because she's my best friend, and I'll listen to her before anybody else. If she calls me a, dumbass, well, guess what? Maybe I am, and maybe she's right. So, again, that whole point of maybe I can be wrong, as long as we all get to the truth, who cares?
Right.
Then we're all right. But I really think that with my faith of how I am, being brutally honest is my personal way of also talking to the divine, trying to make this general for everybody who, maybe people aren't Christian or whatever faith they may have, that as I'm trying to get closer, I want the shackles of my own personal illusions removed.
Right.
So I get to see reality as it is. Like, Herman, I want to hear you for who you are. I don't want you to be heard the way I want you to be. Because
Right.
at this point in time, it's like, I don't even know who you are deep down yet. I would be missing everything at that point in time. Maybe you have a moment. Like, everybody who's seen me on Cab that has seen me break down, that is my most raw moment and bearing my soul and my most vulnerable, because I don't have a problem sharing that. But this is, again, being able to be brutally honest. But as for my face, God help you.
Yeah, right. I was like, wait a minute. I think I have to cover his face there. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, but Sean, I'm one of those people that I'm always scared to tell people what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking because I don't want them to judge me.
No,
I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be judged. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying like anybody. I don't want anyone to judge me. I'm not saying you're going to judge me. I'm just saying like I don't want like the person on the street. If I have a certain view on something, like politically, which I don't get into very much, by the way.
No, that's fine.
I'm just saying like if I have a political opinion or if I have a different opinion about something, I'm scared someone's going to get mad at me. And it's funny you should mention Cab and even Green Bay Wacky has tried to work on me with this and say, hey, come on, Herman, this is not. You're a better person than this. You don't have to be worried about what people think about you.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's
but that's always
that's
that's always my fear. You know, I have anxiety, by the way, Sean. I'm not scared to say that.
no, and that's totally fine. If anything, Herman, I would say that this is where the only reason why I can actually let go as I do, and I've kind of come to a point. I think this also comes with my age, and how bad things have been, how much garbage I've gone through. I mean, I've had a very bad life. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one, but it's not worse than some others. I've seen some other people who've had it much worse than I, and so I'm trying to make it so that my life is an example of what you can do. Even though your life has been bad, you can do great things, and let's do good
Right.
things for people
Right.
to make them do great things themselves. I have this real bad attitude. This is where that anger comes in the right way. Yeah, let's use this way. I have my anger that's used in the right way. Okay, go ahead and call me a name. Oh, that's fantastic. So you know how to use metaphors. I'm proud of you. You know words. Okay, so have you thought about this one and this one? Oh, yeah, and my wife said that this was, my ex-wife, I should say, has called somebody this, and this. And you know what, I think you might want to try to use those words too. I don't think you quite have it right yet. In fact,
Right.
you can call me anything but a child of God. I don't think you got it in you. I think, as I said to people, I think you got, Kool-Aid in your vein and puppy piss running down your leg, because you can't call me a name I don't already know that is whatever, and it's not a personal attack against me anymore. It also came down to that point when I understood that what people are experiencing, like even what you're experiencing, let's use you as a great example with me as another example. We'll go back and forth on this for a second here. How I am seeing you and how I'm responding to you is how I am perceiving you, not who you really are. And then how I am responding to you, how you're perceiving me, what you see in me, maybe you see something else that I'm not seeing as well. This is the other side of the thing, is that maybe let's say I'm down on myself, but you see something that's really good in me I don't see. And you're my mirror. And you're responding to me saying, no, man, you're doing great. This is fantastic. You need to keep going. You're doing a wonderful job. These are the things, our perceptions, when we're doing things out of nice, sometimes, people can be doing it just to say things nice because really, maybe you're a person who needs to work on themselves a bit, and that can happen. But if you're really genuinely meaning it, like, no, you're really beating yourself up for no good reason. Look here, and you give great examples. You've been talking to people, you've been sharing these great experiences, you've been doing all these awesome things. No, you're really doing a good job here. I think you're a little hard on yourself for no good reason. Versus where I'm actually responding to you to say, I get it. I know why you don't want to respond to people, because people can be so intolerant of anything that they don't like because they have an expectation of how you're supposed to be, because they expect you to be the way they think. I'm turning that off as much as I can, every chance I can, every moment of every time I speak to somebody. Just like you. You are so important, I want to hear what you have to say. Not what I want to think about, because God knows you could say something that'd be fantastic, and if I miss out on it, guess what? Who loses? Me. Right. And anybody else who I blanketed out the conversation just because maybe I'm yelling at you because I didn't agree with you. You've basically disregarded what other people are feeling and or wanting to know. Or maybe they missed out on a great experience about knowing something that you could present that was just so fantastic that it helped somebody even though you didn't know it was there. So it's all about perception of what people see. A great one is that in relationships with, let's say divorce is a great one with this one. Every time there's a breakdown in a relationship and it goes bad and a divorce happens, it's all about how one person perceived what the other was doing versus what the other person did versus what the other person was trying to get the other person to do, and all these things back and forth. It's about how you perceive things. If a person, let's say that stereotypical, stereotypes are there for a reason. There's some kind of truth that has to do with it. A guy who sits around and does not a thing for chores, and the woman in the house is having to do everything there. Great example, stereotypical situation. So she's yelling at him, hey, quit just leaving your dishes in the sink. Rinse them out, please, and then put them on the side so that I can get to it. Don't leave them in the sink to where it clogs it up, and then I have to basically take more time to get everything done. And then he blows her off because he thinks she's just nagging at him, when really she's just trying to get this done, and he's not understanding how she's feeling in the matter. But at the same time, he's got all these things in work and all this anxiety because of provider's anxiety that happens for a man. We have it horrible in that regard. Provider's anxiety is hell, and a lot of women don't understand it. So one person didn't perceive the trials and tribulations of the woman having to do the chores of dishes, versus the man not being able to present or explain that the woman couldn't understand his provider's anxiety. They just needed to talk to each other to get it across. Do you understand that I'm hurting because when you do this, this causes me to feel this way, and I don't feel like I'm being, respected or anything like that, but I know that you're probably feeling something else because you're not listening to me. What's going on with you too? Both of you are hurting at that point in time. It's immediately the big thing that I saw, and this is why Amber and I talk so much, is that once I started to hear her voice and she said I wasn't listening to her, I was like, okay, fine. I'll shut up. Just talk. And she was able to explain everything, and then I was able to come back to her, and she broke down. This one time I finally got her to finally cry and break down and let it out. I let her see I did hear her every bit, and I validated what she said, and I understand that she was hurting, but she wasn't seeing me at the same time. And that's why we were having our fight. These are our things that we suffer with the most, is that it's just about perception. So when you feel that you can't talk about something, it is a genuine, right on point, and you are not wrong, fear, and it's not irrational. It is far from irrational fear of how people will misrepresent and present something to you that attacks your identity of who you feel you are in a way that's like, look, man, I'm just trying to sit there and say how I feel about this. You didn't have to say that. And so it's not an irrational fear in any way, shape, or form. It's right on point. But it's how people perceive it. So really their perception has absolutely, and I'm going to blow your mind maybe with this, I don't know, some people I've done this with, and I could be wrong. Everything what they had to say, no matter how bad it was, didn't have a damn thing to do with you. Not even slightly.
Right.
But the problem is what we do take it personal, because we want to offer up so much of our awesomeness to somebody, and that we genuinely care, that when they spit it back in our face, we were like, well, what the hell was that about? But again, that we have to take that, we not only have to perceive what they're thinking, but we have to look at ourselves and pay attention to what we're saying to ourselves, or how we see ourselves at that point in time. Well, I guess they didn't want to see this. Well, you really are bad off. Dude, just calm down. Or, hey, sweetie, honey, please calm down. It's not that bad. I know you're upset and you're not wanting to take my advice, but you have to understand, I'm trying to do the right thing here for you. You don't need to sit there and use names. Specifically, if you start using, if somebody starts calling you names in a discussion, that's ad hominem. They lost the discussion. Right. At that point in time, if they're having to go that route, it's like, look, you're losing your cool here. Let's take a moment. Why don't you just tell me what's going on and how you feel? Well, I want this, and this to happen. Well, I'm sorry, I can't make that happen. What do you want me to do? I can't make that happen. You have to accept this is not going to happen, whether you like it or not, or if they don't like what you said. Well, I'm glad you don't feel this way, but can you show me why you feel otherwise? And give them a chance to offer up to say that you're validating them at the same time that they're trying to attack you. Now, some people just want to troll. There's nothing you can do about that. And I love trolls, right? Because wow, I'm fantastic. I'm glad you sit there and think that my mother and father breed out of season. I'm so awesomely happy that you feel this way. I hope in time that maybe you find that you can find happiness and go about your business. But you know what? Yeah, fantastic. You do you. I don't have to sit there and take it. But if that helps you in any way with anything there, because, dude, I think you're awesome. I love hearing you. Yeah. That regardless of what your political beliefs are, even if I don't agree, I still want to hear it.
Right.
And even if there's something that I may say that you don't agree with, I would hope that we would be able to at least understand each other.
No, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And Sean, I want to bring this up real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off there. With trolls. Now, I've had some pretty funny trolls in my time on YouTube. I've only been on here for 2 years, but I had one call me a looser, and not a loser, but a looser. So I replied to this troll. I probably shouldn't have replied in the comment. I said, "No, I'm sorry. I think you were talking about your mom."
Oh.
And, and I know it was pretty bad. And then one of them called me an idiot. I said, "Yeah, I might be an idiot, but at least I got out of my parents' basement a couple years ago."
Well, and so that's the thing. Is that for some people, you don't want to be a floor mat. Yeah. So it's like, at the same time, you want to sit there.
I had to respond somehow.
Well, there are some people there are ways that I've found that you can respond to people who can be mean at the time. It's like, well, there's a good way that I've learned, even Cab's done it. And I learned this along the way, is like, if you have somebody that if you're talking with them, In person to person, I'm really on spot and I have no problem doing it. But a lot of people are cowards. They're keyboard warriors. Is that if you respond, if you can do a picture up there, it's like a picture, like, it is. You just don't care.
Well,
And
you know, Sean, I have to agree with what you were saying because I kind of have had people make a bad perception of me, and because like what you're saying, people will take things and make you look bad. Well, I said something back in late of December to someone that I regret saying, but it's because he kept on antagonizing me, provoking me, and wrapping around.
Right.
And ultimately, he was expecting me to say that, and he did so much that it was just making me angered, even though I should have left first. I was becoming so emotionally unstable, and I have that issue. But
Sure.
he was provoking me so much that I said something out of my mouth out of anger and yelling that I didn't mean to, and now people are thinking that I think of this to all people of color and such, and now I'm labeled as a racist and such.
And that's typical of the people that don't care. Now I'm gonna make the pictures disappear here. If you wanted to respond to somebody who has that whole thing, and I'm saving this for Cab because I think you'll get a good kick out of this. So let me see here. Let's do. All right, so we should still be able to be heard. Let me make these. Well, no, actually, I don't need to. Yeah, but I think Cab would get a kick out of it. So if I come over here and then I do this, it's like this. If you want. Whoa, wrong thing. Yes. There's one of my pictures that I have that's pretty cute. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So if I wanted to sit there and go, "This is for you, the troll. I'm sending positives your way. Pew pew pew. You're so awesome. I love having you here." That whole you can just be completely silly about it. And there is a thing. There was a guru that I remember seeing one time. He was like, don't get mad, don't get cosmic, get goofy. And the crazier you are and the sillier you are, the more people are just going to look at you and go, I can't mess with this guy. You're absolutely right, because I think you're awesome and amazing. I want to hear more of what you have to say. Can you tell me more? I'm not too certain. But you know what? I like you so much. This is for you. I'm sending so much awesome your way. And that's the truth of the matter. You can be silly, goofy, happy, and still do the same thing because it heaps coals upon their head. You know what? Hey, and Cab did it. He did a great job of it. You sound like you're hurting. What's going on? No, I know you're calling me these names. You know what? I don't care about that. That's fine. You want to call me a name? Call me a name. Why are you hurting? And if you disarm them because you already know this is the number one thing you already have the evidence of, they are suffering with something so bad that they had to go troll. Mm-hmm. And that's where you give them the power back to them when you fight them in some ways. But if you get goofy and say, you know what, I don't care what you say. You can hate on me all you want. I still care about you. I still worry about you. It's not your fault. Listen to those words I just said. It's not your fault.
Right.
I know you're upset. I know you're hurting. It's not your fault. It's okay. And maybe you did something bad. But you know what? We can get through this, but it's not your fault that you're hurting. You're hurting from actions that you may have done, but you got to get past this. What can we do to help you lift you up? What can we do to get you past this?
Arthur asked, what format are you using?
What format? Let me see where we're right here. I'm sorry, my eyes are... what format are you using here? This is OBS. This is just plain OBS, and I'm not using Streamlabs OBS. I'm trying to figure out how to get both of them to work, but OBS has, in my opinion, I learned this from Green Bay Wacky, this is a better control all the way around. So, like, what we have down here, like this screen here that I have here, is one camera. The other one that I have up over here, whoops, this way, here, up here for Hangouts, my other camera, that's that one. That one right there that you can see is a secondary camera that I have for Hangouts so that people can see me there rather than just an avatar. They get something. And so what I've done is I did a private Hangouts window, gave the link to Nike Girl to put out for people who wanted to get on panel. They can come up, no big deal. I have no problem with it. I've got plenty of room. and we can talk about stuff like this and talk about how I do the streaming. But then what I'll do is with OBS, I'll put it so that I have the one camera, which is me here. I'll then window capture for Hangouts, which is actually more of a screen capture. I did a display capture. I really did that wrong, but I'm just leaving it that way. That way I don't have to redo this. And then for this other thing that you see for the background is another display capture of my other monitor, but this is wallpaper that I have running in the background using Wallpaper Engine. And I was showing this to other people, I think yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah. But there's other wallpaper that I can actually put up here with Wallpaper Engine that if I wanted to change, let me do this real quick here. I will try to get this to work. I think I can. Yeah, I can. Okay, so let's look at my installed wallpapers. So let's say that I wanted people to look at the beach. It's a little bright, but now you got the beach here. So I'll leave these other two windows up because it is pretty dark. And this way they could look at that. Or if I wanted to do another thing for Wallpaper Engine, maybe we got people who want to look at fish. So I'll change it to fish in the background. And I will make the screens disappear here. So now you can see fish in the background, but you can still hear us. So it just depends upon what you want to do. But OBS allowing me to transition like this allows it so that people can see, I want stuff that's calm or peaceful or relaxing. Another one I use occasionally, but it's not going to show up too well, is it's a forest scene. Like I could probably move this over here and people could see more of the flowing water. And this is actual wallpaper. It's a moving wallpaper for Wallpaper Engine. So you can actually get a better view. But it didn't show up as well, in my opinion, as the other one that I had, which was just the flowing blue lines, which is this one here. So I'm doing this in the background. It makes it better for people so they can have something that's calming. So along with my voice, which does have the calming effect of a radio voice, I'm using something that also helps so people can just see it. What's up, Angel?
Hey.
I was going to say, it sounded like you got your mic kicked on. I wasn't sure you were going to say something.
No, that was not me. You may hear a little whispering or a noise. It's my AC, but other than that, I don't have any form of audio or other mic on.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, but I heard it kick on, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of come through if you were going to speak.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, I respect you very much. I really love having you around, too. I mean, again, for all those other people...
and by the way, I see that you have the Canada Leaf for the people of Canada Day.
Yep, and that's pretty much what it is. On 4th of July, I'll have my veterans hat on, and we'll go with that. But
yeah, because I think it's good. I never knew that Canada Day was on July 1st until last year when JoJo did a little video about it, and I just was like, wow, I did not know Canada Day was on July 1st, 3 days prior to the American Day of July.
Yeah, no, it is. And Arthur, this is just doing overlays. I haven't done green screen yet because we don't have I need to put up some kind of divider or something like that so I can put it behind me. Otherwise, you see pretty much our living room that we have / other room that's in the back there.
Some people have like a divider of a foldable wall.
Yeah, we have one, but I have to use it for Amber so that the cats don't jump on our desk from the windowsill. So we'll have to get something else. So, yeah, we just got to get another one.
Yep.
But that's where presentation, having it so that it's a calming effect for the wallpaper they have in the background, as well as being able to have people up on panel. And this is my first effective panel. You guys are on my very first panel. This is my very first time doing this. So you guys are the first guests I've ever had for a panel, and I thank you very much for it because it makes it really awesome that I'm doing this and I got it to work.
But Sean, how much are we getting paid for this, man?
Well, I'm not even getting paid for this, so it is what it is.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I know.
You can give me 10 tacos in exchange there, Sean.
Oh, God, tacos. Now we're talking. Oh, man, I love tacos.
I was at Taco Bell earlier this afternoon having the $5 Chalupa Cravings box.
Oh, man. Well, for U.S., that might be good, but up here, that would probably be closer to about $7.50, $8 up here in Canada. So,
wow.
Where in Canada are you from, Sean? I'm curious.
I was born in Toronto.
Okay,
So
wow.
I was
Oh,
actually
wow.
born. Yeah, I was born in Toronto. On it's the place is called East York. So if you want to
Okay.
think about like little towns within Toronto, it's now considered Scarborough.
Okay, yeah, I know
So
what
if
that
you
is.
guys ever wanted to find out the hospital and all that, go to East York, Scarborough on Google Maps. Look for the hospital there, which I forgot what the name of that is.
Is it sick
Um,
kids? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah, me mental. Uh,
No. They have a sick kids hospital in somewhere in
yeah,
Ontario. I don't know
that's
where, but
that's McMaster University. That's on
uh,
Western Hamilton.
I'm sorry, but Sean, that's a really bad name for a hospital. Sick kids. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's okay. So,
I'm just laughing. I laugh at a lot of stuff that people in Canada do, but I'm sure they laugh at stuff that we do here in the States. So
oh yeah,
it's kind of an
well,
equal thing, you know. You
oh,
know.
don't get me wrong. I understand. There's
What are you talking
uh,
about, Sean? What are you talking about?
oh god, it's not a boot. Let me put that very clear. It's not a
Just
boot.
kidding.
No, it's okay. I'm just clarifying for language. It's not a boot. It's not a boat. It's a boat. And you got to say it
About.
just about. Yeah, it's just that's just how it is.
About. What are you talking
About.
about?
Yeah, it's
There
all
we
what it's
go.
about. Well, that's the thing is that I make fun of it myself. A lot of people are like, "Well, speak like a Canadian for a minute." I'm like, "Well, okay there, eh? I guess I'll talk to you knobs in that kind of accent there, eh?" And we have the grouping of people who also have that wonderful northeastern accent, like they're right out of Boston, and they say pasta, and I'm like, "Oh
Are
dear
you?
God."
Wow.
Like
Wow.
serious, it's a heart attack. Serious. They say
That's
pasta.
awesome.
They don't say Mazda or Nissan. I'm gonna strike one with you here. Mazda and Nissan. I'm
I've heard
not
that.
kidding.
I've heard that. I've heard that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
blew
I'm
my
sorry.
mind.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, let me apologize for them. This is the Canadian thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Apologize
sorry.
for it. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
supposed to be sorry about this, Sean.
yeah,
What am I apologizing?
yep,
No, it's sorry actually.
yep.
It's,
So if
I love
the
it.
the hospital I was actually born in is called the oh, for the love of Pete, I just messed up here. Hang on.
That's a
It's the
good. That's a name. That's a good name of the hospital. Below Pete. I like
yeah,
that hospital.
love of Pete.
My favorite one.
Yeah, it's the Michael Garron Hospital was where I was
Oh, nice.
born, and that's in East York, right next to. It's actually next to Scarborough.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
that was where I was born. So my parents lived in Toronto for a little bit, and then at age 3 they took me back across the border. It's facts. People could find out if they really wanted to dig into me and ask. I don't care. It's not like if anything, anybody wanted anything out of me, good. You're gonna get a lot of debt, which I'm trying to pay
Yeah,
down
right,
and get out.
right.
Yeah, try and get out from underneath that. We're working hard on that. We're getting somewhere, but it takes time. And I don't own anything. Sue me and I'm gonna laugh. But yeah, so I was born in Toronto, but I'm very much Americanized because I lived down in the States for 38 years. My heart is more U.S. based because I don't. I don't see the socialist lifestyle up here. Like their government really isn't socialist; they're just being run by socialists. So I'm not that kind of person, and I'm finding this is very hard. We've tried. I have given it the college try and then some. And when I came up here, we burned every dime we could. Not only we did a good job. We had money at least for a while before when we first moved up here, but then I lost my job because it was a contract and they didn't want to rehire me. It was all about money. That's all it was. The guy got a great product for almost next to nothing, really, because he's paying me $45,000 a year start, which is really I'm worth a lot more than that. But it was one of those things I just wanted to get my foot in the door, and because of my age and what I know, I'm overqualified. So it's like, okay, so I got to do something else. Finding work has been difficult, not even nice for me. I've had people who've, even because I have a very Americanized accent and I say words that are very Americanized, they look at me and go, wait a minute. You wouldn't think that line for that border would be that thick, but it's as if they put up a stone steel wall that goes all the way up to the moon in comparison to culture and how people speak. It's that significant. Cross the water, just cross the border, like go across the river here, either at Port Erie or at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara, and get a little bit deep into here. Go into Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, Toronto, not so much. That's pretty whatever. But get into some of these other smaller towns and you start speaking and you're going to hear some, they're going to look at you and go, oh, you're a Yank. And
wow.
that's an absolute derogatory term. I'm not kidding.
Oh.
They don't mean
Wow.
to like you at that point. They love your money. Oh yeah, you're a tourist? Great. Thank you for being here. Here's some maple syrup and these little moose and bear stuffed animals and all these pins and love Canada, great. And then when you're gone, yeah, they're going to say effing Yank or hot dog eater or hot dog eater is another one.
Wow.
And so because I'm Canadian, natural born here, I have a little bit of some leeway when I say, no, I was born in Toronto, da 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 da. But they hear me talking, they're like, oh, wow, you sound like a Yank. And I'm like, wow, you really just went there. Or if I sit there and I say certain words, they kind of look at me a little odd because I pronounce my A's proper to where most of the languages come from. Or I may anglicize things because of, I lived in the States for a while. But like, pasta was the first thing I was like, what? I didn't understand it first. I was like, pasta. What do you mean? Pasta, noodles. Oh, pasta.
Pasta, right.
Yeah. But, the first time I kicked on the radio up here was a real eye-opener, too, especially when I hit some radio stations. I was hearing French. And all these other things. So it was a bit of a culture shock because we wanted to do this as an experiment. We thought we had a good in with my family up here. No, I didn't. My mom and her family are, because we're Americanized, I didn't realize, they love having us up to visit, but they don't want us to stay. Our own family. And they're just, I'm 30 minutes away from my closest family. And guess what? They want nothing to do with me.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, fine. And it's heartbreaking. It is. It really is. I need to get the chat back over here. And that way I can see what's being said here. The thing that really hurts about it is that, it's like these are people I grew up with that I thought that would be, we were close. We were. And then we lost touch and it was just like, it's been a downhill process. And so my mom and I are technically the black sheep of the family. And it really didn't get to be more obvious to me. And I mean, it's so blatantly obvious here. I just lost my aunt this past August. But she was the only one who actually genuinely, she was dying and she knew it. But I came to visit her and she was like, oh, hon, you have to come or anything like that. And I said, oh, this isn't for me. This is for you. I'm not here because of me. I'm here because of you. I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that you are somebody I love and care about. I'm not here because of the fact that this is not for show. Are you having that problem? And sure enough, and my mom was up here, and because it's her sister, and we were visiting. My mom left before her sister passed because she couldn't deal with it. It was not. There's no way that she could handle it. My mom would be so. It was too hard for her. But I got the news that my aunt had passed, and I went to the funeral. And I was meeting some of my aunt's friends, and they were just surprised as to how well I was dealing with everything. And I said, but I'm not here for me. I'm here for everybody else.
Right.
I will deal with my grieving in my own way, and I've already done some of my own grieving, but I'm here because I know that other people are going to suffer and hurt, and I need to help them out as best I can. So I'm here for you guys. And they're just floored by this. It was such an alien concept. And I met with my family that was here, and they were very grateful that I came and all of that. But I was not part of their inclusive conversation, hey, be around, I'd like to have you here or anything like that. No. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to it's going to sting even in your own heart. You're going to hurt for me, and I'm going to tell you, don't. It's fine. I'm okay. But as things were finally winding down and people were leaving, I was gently ushered out by the staff. Somebody had said that they didn't want me here.
Oh.
So, after I'd paid my respects and we went through the whole thing, after that, I was gently ushered out. That should say something. Wow. So when that happens, this is why I can look at you right now and I say, well, that's on them then. There's nothing I can do. I'm okay with me. I know in my heart I did the right thing and I loved on people as much as I could. And I helped a few people get through the situation. I said, you know what? Don't be too upset. She's no longer suffering because she was hurting bad. She actually went into she went into a coma, she wasn't induced. It was like self-induced, like her body just knew it's time to shut down. And she passed in her sleep in a coma. So she didn't suffer at the end as much as she was suffering through the whole problem. And so, because she was having, she had liver problems, kidney problems, they diagnosed her. She actually had lung cancer at the last minute. All kinds of these different problems that were coming up. But I was there for her. So what I did, the thing that makes me so happy that I was there for, and so I love my aunt so much and I miss her. I really do. The last moment I was there, she said she loved me. I kissed her on the lips, and it was a meaningful, I miss you, you are my family, I love you, nephew, kind of thing. And it was real. It wasn't fake in any way, shape, or form. She really did care. So even though I have the family that doesn't care about me, and I'm not upset because of that. That's not why I'm getting emotional. It's because of the fact that I knew she cared, that's what really, it's a bittersweet happiness kind of thing. And you can't trade those moments for anything. They're priceless. And I can take that with me forever. I can take that with me to the next, for the afterlife kind of thing. I don't have to sit there and ever have that loss. So regardless of how my family feels about things, I was there for those who mattered. And here's another one. If you want a great movie, one I would recommend, and I saw this here just recently. Oh God, let me bring this up here on here real quick. I'm going to minimize that. I need to find it. It's a Jack Nicholson movie. Oh God, and believe it or not, it has your name in it. Or no, not Arthur. Arthur's name here. Hold on. If I can spell here. Good Lord, I'm absolutely having a difficult time. Oh, for the love of Pete. I think it was Arthur. Just recently here. Good Lord. I can't find it. Or is it Arthur? God, I just deleted it, because I download and I watch and then I move on kind of thing. But it's a Jack Nicholson movie. Anyway, what goes on is that he's trying to, his wife passes, who he doesn't know anymore. He's just like, who is this woman? And what happens is that his daughter is going to marry a guy that he thinks is completely not good for her at all. And I'm sorry, it's about Schmidt, but his first name I believe it's Warren Schmidt. I'm sorry. And what happens is he goes through the whole movie, but it's not until the end that he sees somebody's life that he affects in such a way that it's meaningful. Now, I'm not going to say who this is and what it is and where he all of a sudden gets this amazing just gift back to him to show that he matters. But the movie is a 2002 movie. It's about Schmidt. And it is really, really good for that. And if you ever wanted to see anything for how... and Bucket List was great, yeah. I remember seeing that one, Arthur. That one was really good. But About Schmidt was really good for that one because at the end he gets to see he actually did something positive for somebody. But again, I'm not going to say who and what was said because what was said is something I would say is a spoiler. Beyond spoilers for me to get. And the whole movie is really long and you think it's slow, but that ending is worth it. You go through, how long is this movie? Is it an hour and... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes, but some of it's hilariously funny. But it's that 5 minutes at the end, just before the credits. You go through 2 hours, and it's worth it. It is so worth it at the end. You really feel. It's a man upon retirement embarks on a journey to his estranged daughter's wedding, only to discover more about himself and life than he ever expected. He's living in Omaha, Nebraska of all places. God, that is the longest state to drive across besides Texas. It's so long. But he's an insurance salesman who retires. And now he's trying to fill his time. And some of the stuff he does is hilarious. It's so funny. But he goes across country to see his daughter again and trying to talk her out of this wedding. And he just doesn't feel like he's connecting with her. She's estranged because, they couldn't connect. And he was just kind of going through the motions of life. And we all do that at times. Another good movie for that to kind of show how that can happen is in the movie Remote with Adam Sandler. He lets the remote do everything and he just goes through the motions. He's not really living his life. Going through life is, and just letting it happen, is to ignore everything that could possibly, even the uncomfortable moments, and just, you're not living it. You're just in it. And that's death. There's the point, another movie that's really good for people to watch is Shawshank Redemption. Andy Dufresne says to his buddy, I forgot his friend's name, that's the one played by Morgan Freeman, he says, there's two things you need to do in life. You either get on with living or get on with dying. And that's the truth of it. Either we are living our life or we are dying. And the live stream I did here recently was about a song that I had. I had some friends over and we were praying, and it was a really great session. We were talking scripture and getting into it and going back and forth about, what's this, what's that. And these young men always appreciate listening to what I have to say. And some of them, there are other ones that I have to say that are coming up that I have to look at. But after that was that one song I was talking about in that stream is, it's by Alter Bridge, and the title of the song is Wouldn't You Rather? And it's amazing because the lyrics for that are so intense, so meaningful to what I was going through trying to get past it. Let me see if I can find this here. Lyrics. Alter Bridge. Yeah, there we go. Still in my search. There we go. Lyrics Freak has it. The chorus goes on. I'll tell you the first bit is, sell yourself short and buy a world of pain. Follow your bliss or pay the price. All of these lessons, I've learned them so well. There is no gain worth the commerce of self, meaning you're selling yourself, giving things up of yourself, not being who you truly are. So then it goes on, here's the chorus. Wouldn't you rather live from the heart, a life that will matter to be lived from the start? And so our life is so short, and to allow these people rob from you all of, say what you got to say at times. Yeah, it may not be great. It may not be perfect. But I'm going to want to say I'd rather hear you. I'd rather hear the true you. And even if I don't agree with it, we can talk about it. We can love each other. Oh, I think we just lost Herman here. His connection might have kicked out. I can repeat myself. Not a big deal. But this is where, for people who are watching, that
well, I think he might be getting ready for bed because I think it's like 10 p.m. Down there where Herman lives.
I was going to say it's 1:15 a.m. here on the East Coast, so 3 hours back. Yeah, it's about right. So we'll let it run. No worries. If not, he's always welcome back. It's not like a big deal. I'm easygoing. But that's the thing, is that those lyrics meant so much because if we choose to live small, and well, a lot of times I have to, because people don't necessarily either they didn't hear me the first time, or they don't understand, so I have to repeat it in a different way. Or I try to just make sure I'm understood. Those lyrics mean that because, again, we're just living or we're dying, But About Schmidt was about that, is that he finally realizes that he's just been, he's getting on with dying. He's not getting on with living, but at the end of it, he finally sees that there's something that was meaningful, wonderful, that he was doing, that he didn't even realize he was doing. And this is where, if you think that you don't matter or that you're not important, get on my stream. I'll show you otherwise, because I want to hear you. If you're suffering, let me help you. If you have a great joy, let's do this. My last stream, I said it. It's Callahan's Law. A sorrow shared is lessened. A joy shared is increased. And that's very true. When I was going through a very bad session, I was deeply into PTSD in a very bad way, to where it was just, I completely imploded. And I had members of my church reach out to me, and they all hugged me, and they said, "You know what? We're not going to let you go. We're not going to let you just deal with this on your own. we're here for you. We're your brothers. We mean to love you and listen to you and help you get past this and get this out of you. And it's true. It was a poison that I had in my heart that was just pulling me down. But since I've been getting involved in church more and trying to get community, that's the only way to heal PTSD is through community. It is true. Sebastian Junger, he's a combat journalist. He did a TED Talk on that, of why vets love war. It's not that we love war. It's the fact that we miss our brothers and sisters that we were serving with, our family, per se, if you want to think about it, because we were all in this fight together. We all knew what this was. We were all together to keep each other safe, no matter the circumstance. And it was through that community that he was able to understand that past civilizations that have the wars, like these tribal situations of, either it'd be the Celts, the Picts, native tribes of the Americas here, that they go through these horrible wars and all this death. The reason why they can actually get past it is because their community is used to having to survive together. And these men went out to protect the other, the invalid men, women, children, etc., the elderly, trying to protect them. And they respected that because they all were in this together. So it was community coming together that they were able to get past all these moments of PTSD and overcome it, because they remembered these guys had value because they're protecting us. And that's what it is that we're trying to remember these combat vets, or even just veterans like myself who've experienced some really horrific things, that even though I wasn't on the front line, I saw and had to deal with things that I had to make some very hard choices. We'll just say that. And when we bring them together in community, we recognize and tell them, you have value. If you've gone through a horrible traumatic experience and you don't know if you have value, good example, rape victims. They have value. Bring them into the community. They don't want to be seen. They think it's their fault in some cases. Bring them into the community. Show them that they have value. We love you. We want you around. We think you're amazing. That was a bad experience, but you are not a victim any longer because you are with us. You are a victor, and we're going to help lift you up and keep you going. All of that's the same thing with anybody who has this. But we're getting into a society that is more and more PTSD is becoming real, because people are not being brought into the community of either church, a community, just a group of friends. It could be a book club. God forsakes, it could be even, maybe just go to a cat cafe and everybody gets together and we all talk about how great petting cats is and loving them and giving them treats and playing with them. It's the fact that you have a community that you can rely on to show that you have value from them, that they're going to stick with you and say, you know what? We care and we think that you matter. We see that you have value and we want you here. And we like having you here. That's why we're telling you this. And then they understand that you have these issues, but we're going to lift you up regardless of that. We don't care that you have faults. Fantastic. So do we. Do you want to know mine? Because I know about yours a little bit. Maybe you should tell me about yours. How can we help you? That's how this works. This is why Cab 7 works so well that he's done, and why all these other little communities are sprouting up, because we see the value of it. And that's what's helped me to finally get to where I'm doing this now, is because I needed that community. I'm still going to Cab 7. Do you think I'm going to quit? Heck no. Do you think I'm going to go to church with more value now? Yes, because I see that I'm contributing and giving something back that they see is worth my time giving to them and them to hear it. We do testimony every month in church about how we're growing spiritually and the things we've seen or things that we think people need to know. And they love hearing me. They say, we realize it's a voluntary thing that you really need to offer, on your own, but we really love hearing you. Yeah, and known by PJ, yeah. Yeah, it is. This is part of your community. You have many communities, but if this is one that you feel it's safe that you can get into, maybe people aren't, don't feel comfortable like myself sharing my face, but you know what? That's fine. At least you're here, and if this makes you feel better, great. Who said you had to do it one way or the other? Enjoy yourself for what it is in this moment, because it's meant for you. This is who you are, and I value you very much. I value everybody who gets on my channel, even if you're just in the chat. I appreciate having you here just because you're here, not because I expect you to do anything for me. I'm doing for you. It's kind of the opposite way around. But you are doing for me, because if you ask questions, even if they're hard ones and I don't have the answer, you know what? I don't care. I'd rather still sit there and say, well, we're in this together to try and find an answer. And even if I don't know, that doesn't mean it's still not, it's still important. I want to find the answer along with you. And this is where for some people that, they first get in here, they might feel a little bit, this is kind of a new and strange feeling. Just like with cabs, this is a new and strange feeling of being cared about. Like the trolls. Well, you're hurting. What can I do to help you? Okay, so you said something else. That's fine. I don't care. You're not going to hurt me. You're hurting. And I hurt for you because you're hurting. And the more you hurt, the more I hurt. What in the hell can I do to help you? What can I do to get you up out of this funk? What can I do to make it so it's easier for you to get out of this? No, I hear you. I do. And that's understandable, known by PJ. I get you. Sometimes you can't get out, but you know what? If this is how you got to reach out, great, fantastic. And this wallpaper that I'm putting up here, this blue wallpaper that's off to the sides here, all of this, I thought of you for this. I thought of anybody who comes on my channel that's suffering, and this is for you. This gentle wallpaper here is meant to calm you and give you a piece of life that's not anything that's traumatic or whatever. This has helped to distract you to know that this is a good place, that you can be at peace, and this is what this is about. And also, blue is a great color for introspection. It's supposed to make you come inside of yourself and realize that you are an amazingly wonderful thing. And if everybody can't see it, well, that's their loss. They're hurting and they can't see it, so I'm trying to help them. But again, I don't have every answer. I know that. I know I never will, because I'm only human. I don't have the ability to tap into the infinite yet. It is what it is. It's something that I would hope that people could find that would be able to come either here or find another channel that could give them that peace. I really do. I mean that. I want them to have that peace. If not here, then with Cab. And Cab has a lot of good people there. I'm so happy he's doing this. I'm very proud of the man. I love him dearly. And just like my wife said, she has no other friends outside of YouTube because most of the people here don't like the fact that she's an American. As sad as that is. And this is another reason why as soon as we have the money saved up, we're going to go back to the States and we're done. And it's going to be a hard process saving up money, but we can't do this anymore. It's gotten to the point where this is just, it's gone beyond ridiculous. I can't get work up here for snot hardly, but I finally got something that I'm going to be working on. I'm trying to do some more web development. I'm actually going to be getting my own site up and running for that. And trying to get some business going so that I can, and you can make a lot of money doing web development, but I have to do it as my own business. People won't hire me because I'm overqualified. They won't pay me what I'm worth, and they're barely able to pay me even anything because of the way that taxes are and anything like that. Most of them think that this is just, oh, you're just sitting there typing on a keyboard. That's really easy. And then I tell them, well, if so, then go ahead and do it yourself. Good luck. You're going to need it. Because it took me a long time to master the skills I have. And I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm cheap and easy. I wouldn't expect anybody else to. If you're worth your wage, you know what? I'd rather pay you for what you know how to do. It's the truth of it. But we can't do this anymore up here. We're tired. We're done. Also, the fact is that it doesn't help because the way this country has gone, it doesn't help the fact that I'm a white, straight male. Even though I don't care who you are, my wife's bisexual. I've seen people in the LGT, you'll have to forgive me if I say it this way, but that I feel offended for my wife, is that the LGT community, they've been insulting to her because she's bisexual. They say she's confused because she's with a man, rather than just being straight gay. I think that if you're bisexual, I think that means you love both sides, doesn't it? I think so too. But they don't look at it that way. I've seen people up here. I've had my son was dating a gal who was bisexual. She said even to her that she's been called confused. Other members that I've met that are out in the community, they all have said, yeah, they keep saying that I'm confused. And I'm like, you're not. You have the way that you are. I'm the way I am. And that shouldn't matter. Dropped life for some reason. No reason. 2 hours away yet. Part of that is, and PJ, I'm going to say this very sincerely. PTSD means that you don't want to be a burden to other people. And so you withdraw. It may not be because he doesn't care. Maybe because he cares so much that he doesn't want you to be burdened by him because of what he's going through. PTSD is an anxiety of the future of how you think you're going to be affecting on people. So you have to think that it's not so much about how you're suffering with, it's the fact that he's suffering so much he doesn't want to be in your life to cause you harm or hurt you. He cares that much, but he's just imploded. It's probably a time that if you can gently, I say that gently, try to reach out as best you can. Say, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know how you're hurting, but I'm here for you regardless. I don't care how you feel about me or whatever. I still love you. And no matter what's going on, you're not a burden to me. Whatever you're suffering with, I'm suffering with you because I haven't heard from you and I love you. That is the easiest way you can gently give them that opportunity to be heard. I know because I'm speaking from the experience of it being told to me. It is no different. I am exactly the same way with anybody who suffers with PTSD in that regard, that we have to be told we're not a burden. It's going to be okay. There you go. But again, it's still sometimes he feels like he's possibly a burden to you, and he doesn't know that he has value. Just let him know that he has value. Gently, slowly, but let him know he has value. It's still hard for me. I'm not going to lie to you. At times, even as I'm talking to you right now, I still feel the nagging pull at that bit of me that wants to go, it's time to end the stream. You need to get out. I don't want to be a burden to people. But through sharing this with what I'm going through, even though I'm not really asking for anybody's support in this, I'm trying to share by supporting myself, kind of self-enabling myself to talk about this, what's going on, that maybe we can help him see that he has value, he is loved, it is difficult. Everybody's heart is hard. I have a video on that specifically. Everybody's heart is hard. Where some person can tackle being a CEO of a multinational conglomerate and make these very, very large decisions over how a business is supposed to work, and possibly even over how the policy of people's lives are within the company. And yet, that's difficult for them to kind of cross the street without having somebody with them. Other people may look at that he or she is doing and say, I can't run a company like that, but yet they can cross the street like a boss, like it's no big deal, and say, yeah, I got to go get groceries. And this other person, they can't do anything. This is also why you see some CEOs and executives get into other lifestyles that allow them to surrender their decision-making to somebody else, and etc. I'm sure most people understand what I mean. He's also TBI. Oh, boy. Yeah, he's got a mix of issues there. And that's the thing, is that, again, sometimes it just, there's the interesting portion of doing your own pilgrimage. You may not even have to go anywhere. A pilgrimage is actually a journey in the mind, but people go places to help them symbolically go on a journey that really is within themselves. A pilgrimage a place doesn't have to be sacred for you to have a pilgrimage. You could walk down and go get a cup of coffee or buy milk at the store and come back and you've done your pilgrimage. You just had to go because the journey was within you. He may have to do that, and that may be necessary because he's got to do some. No matter what we do, we can't lead people except to the door of change that they need to do within themselves. But they got to walk through that door. And maybe this is where he's finally found a door he has to walk through, and he's doing it as best he can. But we still need to show them that they have value, because even though they walk through that door and it's scary, we don't care. We love them unconditionally. That's the ultimate point of why we get to where we are. This is what I would hope these live streams have come to. I think we've kind of come circle to that point of, not just because of the fact of what I'm doing with OBS, but this is what I enjoy doing, to talk to people about, to try and help them get past their suffering. This answer I've given, a suggestion, recommendation, may not be the answer that's going to fix him. I admit that freely. There may be somebody else who has to talk to that gets him taken care of. Why he's in the motorcycle. I'm so glad he's with these guys. Those are his brothers and sisters that will help lift him up and say that why vets miss war. I'm going to see if I can find that, and I'm going to put that link out in YouTube. Yeah, combat medic. Oh, he's seen some pretty rough stuff then. Okay, let me find this while we're talking here. Because it's that important. It is that important. Let me see if I can find Sebastian Junger here. Bastian Junger. TED Talk. Here we go. I spelled his name wrong. Why Veterans Miss War. That's it. Okay, so let me find a way to get the link here. Okay. For those who want to understand combat vets or veterans that have why we have these moments like that, this link is for you guys to watch. Watch it all the way through. No holds barred. It is 13 minutes and 9 seconds of what you should hear. You will understand things in ways I know you will never have expected. If you have never been in combat, you're not a veteran, you don't understand. That right there. Yeah. Yeah, wounded warriors. Because the wounds on the outside heal most times, and sometimes, you have amputations and things like that. But the wounds inside, they don't heal easy. I know from experience. My Amber has even said that very clearly, that she's seen me suffer some horrible things that I have not been able to express, and she's just wrapped her arms around me. I'm trying to keep it together. That I have not been able to get past. And it's true. Those wounds are not easily healed, and you can't see them until we express them. And God, if we don't try to rough it up, tough it up, and say that we're going to be here and do it and just suck it up, princess attitude. And boy, I've said that to myself I don't know how many times. Just suck it up, princess. You're going to keep going. And it's not that I'm afraid to cry. It's the fact that I'm afraid to lose it so much that I would be useless. Understand those words. It's not that I'm afraid to cry. I'm just afraid of being useless and a burden to other people. That is the real cold truth that nobody wants to admit when we have that problem. A very, very hard truth. And this is where, again, as I said, I can be brutally honest with myself, ruthlessly honest with myself, spiritually, to try and get past it. And it's a lot of work. It's not stopping. Yeah. That's it. It's hard. Sometimes you need those. Service animals are a big deal for us nowadays. Why do you think we have cats and I don't get upset about having the cats? Yeah, I got a clean fur. And I mean, my God, my cat George got up on here and I have like fur everywhere on my desk, but he knows what I'm suffering. It's one of the few times he gets up on my desk consistently and sits there and says, Dad, you're going to pet me now. But this is when we suffer, when we have these problems. Why people need to see that it's real, and that it's very hard for people to overcome. But it's without community, they will go further into it. They will get deeper. And unfortunately, in the political theater that we have now, and I'm not trying to bring up politics in a way that I'm trying to attack it, but we're now in a situation where it's no longer correct to be family. It's no longer correct to be in a community that's healing or welcoming or loving. It's now to be about part of a group, and that your identity doesn't matter and you're just a number. I mean, we couldn't be more Orwellian if we could, smack ourselves in the head with a brick. It's bad. We need to have these communities that are loving and opening, like what Cab 7's doing. Green Bay Wacky has his funny shows. Nike does hers, and boy, she brings people together, and she's such a great woman for that. All these people who putting these wonderful streams that I love seeing, and going around and doing the bee pollinating from stream to stream as best we can to build people up and lift, like what I'm trying to do here. This is where we best benefit, is from community. I wouldn't be able to do this if it hadn't been for the fact that my wife had introduced me to Cab And I finally broke the ice because I really do get afraid. I do. I don't want to be a burden to you guys. And I admit that. I mean, I know many people would say, no, I'm not going to be. But it's still something that we hear in there. There you go. Sometimes you have to use medication. And that's the truth. Amber's seen that there are certain meds I probably would be best to avoid because of my mental state. She's seen me at my worst on tramadol, which is a nerve pain medication for my back, because I have narrowing of the spine, a spinal column, and calcium building up on certain nerves that causes me to have sciatica really bad down my left side. I took it just for a few pills. It was like 2. I think maybe 3, but I know 2 for certain. We were driving to go somewhere. I went and picked something up. It was a thing that we were doing here as a trade. I bought a jailbroken PS3 that had all the custom firmware on it for $100. And I had a panic attack as soon as I got back to the vehicle. It just started. And I'm having to drive home because I'm the only one who can drive. Amber gets panicky behind the wheel, period. She has a hard time with driving. And I was the one who had to be calmed down. And I drive really well. I am an exceptional driver. I'm one of the few people that will tell you that buckle up, you're in the safest vehicle on the road. And that's no lie. And I have, oh my Lord, spinal stenosis. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Ouch. And tramadol set me off in a way that I was ready to kick over a table and hide behind it like I was in the military, trying to protect against friendly fire. It was like that. Or not friendly fire, but just fire. I had a friend of mine who died from friendly fire. But just diving over from, being shot at. That kind of panic. I didn't know where I was going to find the threat that was trying to attack me, but I just felt like I was threatened from all angles. I understand. Same thing with my back. It's just a thing. You got to deal with it. But I felt that way on tramadol. So those are meds I can't take. But if he's got good ones and they're working for him, oh, thank God. Now, the problem is that eventually he has to be changed from one med to another because you do have your tolerance goes up and then it doesn't work as good. And hopefully they're non-addictive, non-habit forming meds. But I know that sometimes that happens. But this is another reason why I wasn't happy about tramadol. But yeah, no, I got off of those immediately. And my best thing has been CBDs and some dietary changes for my gout, which of course has been a big thing. But yeah, sometimes you have to use the meds. It's the only way to overcome it, because you're so far into your brain chemistry that it's difficult to get out, no matter what anybody says. And I understand that. I don't have the answer to everything. If we could just talk somebody through and have the answers, then, well, I'd be the Buddha or Christ. It'd just be that easy. And I'm far from that. I could not walk on water to save my life right now. I could swim really well, but not walking on water. So, his meds were changed to this one. Do you think that maybe those meds also caused him to finally go about being on his way to go do his own thing and not include you? Is that a possibility, do you think? I kind of wait to see what you say here. Because I know that's an important thing, that sometimes meds do change you to who you become, a different person mentally. I know that for some people, yeah, that's a question. But if they're working for them and it gives them some peace, sometimes that may be necessary. The hardest thing as parents is that when our children leave the nest and go to do their own thing. I know that very well. We've had 2 that one is left of her own volition of stupidity because she got deported, and one we had to send on his way because he was threatening his mother, and that's where I put my foot down. He needed to go do his own thing and find out his own stupids and suffer, where if he felt that he was going to do it better than us and he wanted to threaten to set his mother on fire while she slept, he can leave this house. And that's exactly what happened, because I'm not going to have that. Because if I put hands on him, you wouldn't need an ambulance. You'd need to call the mortuary. Oh, fantastic. There you go. If, you have some way of communicating that way, again, Just be there for him. That's all you can do. Sometimes that's the only way you can do it. We had to wait for my stepdaughter, Amber's daughter, to. I'm trying to suppress a yawn. We had to wait for her to finally contact us after she left the house, and just, I guess she thought we were chopped liver and didn't want anything to do with us. We just had to wait until she was ready, and finally, 6 months after she left, she finally contacted us and apologized and tried to start communicating with us more, and now we're in much better terms. Sometimes it just takes that. As much as I don't like it, because you worry.
And now she's gonna have my grandson in August.
Yeah. So things have turned around, but sometimes it takes time. A journey to go through that kind of pain. She's not allowed to talk to me. I am so sorry. I would still say that, I realize that he probably feels one thing or the other. I don't know why he feels that he has such a need to push you away. But again, just try to be there. I'm hoping, I'll pray for you on this one, I really will. That maybe his heart will soften and he can see you more for who you are rather than who he thinks you are. Again, this is about what I was saying earlier with Herman, is that it's just about his perception. Well, in that case, if you have to do it kind of clandestinely and kind of the wink and the nod kind of thing through chat, however you can do it, who's going to say otherwise? Again, it's one of those things of, I'm here, I'm doing what I can. It'd be like if she was on this stream here and she was watching you talk to me, she would know what you're saying. Yes, I think his wife is great, and you wouldn't be talking directly to her. I think his wife is great. We talk, she gets along with me great and fine, and I love her for that. And that way that my daughter? Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's the same thing as, even if his wife was able to find a way to get onto a stream with you and you were able to talk like this, you can talk in code. It works. But yeah, Lena's, it's sad that she had to go through what she did and get herself deported, and then she went through some really bad experiences, along with getting hit by a car while she was riding a bike. She lived, obviously, but she was bruised up pretty bad and beat up, and they're still going through litigation for the case because the guy that hit her in the car was a 16-year-old kid, unlicensed, and took his parents' car for a joyride in the middle of the night. He was trying to mess with the radio, and that's why he ended up hitting her. So, ouch. But things like that really humbled her fast. Gratefully, graciously, she lived. Yeah, exactly. Anything you can do to get it to get rolling, anything at all. All you can do is just keep being there for them, regardless of what they feel or say. It's all you can do. And that matters even if they're not your family or friend or family, they're just friends or children of friends. It's like, look, you're still cared about. I realize that you may have whatever, but I appreciate you for who you are. Doesn't matter. I say that to a lot of people. You may not be family. I don't care. I still appreciate you for who you are. What, you want me to hate you? That serves no purpose. But where are we at for time here? I know I need to get a couple other things done here. I'll be on for another 15 minutes. I'll go to 2. And, but this is, again, where I feel for people who have these losses. And, I feel that people, when they do these things to their parents or whatnot, it's just because they can't see it. Or if parents do it to their kids, a lot of it is that there are times where you have people who they're just being selfish. I saw a very cringy, very emotive-based teenager, really caught in their emotions, horribly so. And they said some of the worst things about their father I have seen, and I'm sure because of the way that they were presenting it, yeah, the guy was probably strict, but sometimes it's necessary because some kids are actually asking to be, for that discipline to be there because they want to know they're loved. No, don't go over to this guy's house. He's going to get you into trouble. Went to my daughter called him and said, please go check on mom. He called her a liar. So he's in that phase right now. Well, and this is where, again, I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't come down to other circumstances where he finally misses his opportunity to come meet with you. I do pray that never happens. I pray that he's able to meet with you and find peace. I'll put that down heavy in prayer on that one. Meaningfully. And I think that, again, with this person I was talking about, that I read their tweets that they were saying they were just on a rant, and that they caused their father physical harm and pain and suffering because it was basically the whole thing about his patriarchal based house, and it's like, but it's his home, and he's trying to take care of you and make sure you're safe and doing the right thing so that you become a productive adult. Amazing thing that my wife said at one time, and I have to say I agree with her very strongly, is that we are not raising children. Our children may be our children, but we are not raising them as children. We are raising them as adults. And that is a big deal. So with this person that I got to see their tweets, I'm not going to share that because it's pertinent to them. You want to go look it up, go see what you can find. I'm sure you can find some cringy, emotional, adults that were teenagers talking about how bad their life was. Yeah, my mom tried to force me to clean my room. It's like, okay, grow up. But this person was really, I get to be myself. I get to do what I want kind of thing. It's like, well, fantastic. If that's all you were looking to do, there you go. Good luck. But I'm trying to raise you as an adult so that you're going to be effectively self-reliant. You don't have to rely on somebody else or be dependent upon the government to take care of you. I want you to be functional to where you make your money, it's your money, your house, your vehicle, or not. Maybe you just take mass transit if you live in a city. Your way of doing things effectively to keep you alive, healthy, and ultimately what every parent wants is to see that their children are happy. Not because we want to control you. But there are a lot of people, even Lena, didn't get it until after she left. She thought I was trying to just control her life and do this and that. And it's like, no, I want you to be happy, but I want you to make good decisions. Now that she's made a lot of bad ones, and now that she's listened to her mother first, which thank God she listened to her mother on that one, because her mother told her a lot of this stuff before I did, and I had to come along and repeat it.
Thing is that it's only up until now that she's made the right decision by having this child. It's clicked her brain to go, oh wait, that was stupid.
Yep.
Mom was always right, and she tells me that now. Mom, you're always right. I should have listened to you. And I'm like, yep, you should have. Now you know.
And that's the thing, that when we raise our children to be adults, even if it's like, I have a stepdaughter from my first marriage. Now, I failed horribly as being a good dad to her at all. It's my opinion. Maybe other people would be whatever about that and maybe say that I wasn't that bad. Yeah, I made some really bad mistakes, but I did at least try to do a good thing with her in some ways. But I feel like I almost completely failed her on a lot of points. However, she has grown into an amazing woman. I've been able to watch at a distance. She has given me pretty much, even though she hasn't shared it with me, 2 grandchildren. That's fine. One is a daughter, one is a son. So my step-granddaughter, let's see here. I'm trying to think about how old this little girl is now. Well, she's not so little any longer. Wow. God, I'm going to try to think of this. Let's see here. Year. She's turned 26. This little girl, my granddaughter, I know this is going to blow people's minds who actually watch this later, but I was... So this little girl is 11 years old. My first granddaughter is 11 years old. And my grandson, I think he's about 4, maybe 3. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember his situation very well. But I've watched at a distance to see how she's grown. And she's with a man that loves her. Very happy about that. I do know that she also is bisexual. I didn't care if she was with a woman or a man. Didn't matter. As long as she's happy. And so Another movie I can quote something I thought that was amazingly said by Harrison Ford was the newest Blade Runner movie. And he said, sometimes to show someone that you love them is to leave them. And at this point in time, my stepdaughter from my first marriage, as much as I love her, I am out of her life, and I'm not upset at the fact that I'm not going to go back and say, over spilt milk, I want to be there and everything like that. I'm going to say this way, is that I love her enough to leave her alone and let her go live her life and be happy. And that's all I want. I just want her to be happy. Even if I'm not included and I have to catch it at a distance, because my son is her brother. And I hear things back and forth about how she's doing and the good and things in between. So I have... night, Arthur. You have a good one. I have to step back and let her just live her life. But I want her to be happy. That's all I want. I'm hoping some of the things that I did teach her when she was younger, at least she takes an effect that, I thought there were good productive things, but I think that really, with all the bad that happened, that I was not there for her. There were times that her mother was horrible to her and I was not there for her. And I failed. I didn't give her certain words of encouragement that I could have. I said some things that were pretty bad at times that I didn't understand what I was doing. I was failing as a father. I really was. But part of that also was that her mother and I were not getting along very well, partially because it is what it is. I used to have tough love with Bill. When he moved out on his own, was hungry and wanted to raid my kitchen, and I told him no. Well, and that's the case of what it is. They have to understand that sometimes it's hard. And if they don't like the discipline, well, do you want to live effectively on your own, or do you want me to sit there and continue to just keep living to where you don't make your own decisions? I mean, if you want to be a slave to me and continue to make it so I'm making choices and living vicariously through your life, okay, but I don't think you're going to like all the decisions I'm going to make. Your choice. It's like living off the government. Do you like that welfare check in a way that really stings, to where if they take it away, you have no choice, so you have to do what they say? Or do you want to kind of do your own and be self-reliant? I mean, if you want to be self-reliant, I'm gonna give you every bit of support. And yeah, things are going to happen and you need a little help every now and then. But if you want to do it on your own and get out there, I'm going to give you everything I can to try and show you how awesome you are enough to do it. And that's the truth. And sometimes you have to be on support from the government, because, like, I'm afraid that at one point in time I'm going to have to be on disability here because my ankles, I do have a permanent disability with my ankles. My back is a concern that may put me in permanent disability, because if I can't get the surgery taken care of here in the next year or 3 years, I'm concerned I'm going to have permanent nerve damage. It's a real deal. Yeah, and that's the truth. That's what happened with Lena. She wanted to go be an adult. Fine. We didn't go chasing after her. Once she got deported, that was it. Bye. And she found out the hard way. Now, unfortunately, Lena does have she's had this as her modus operandi. Her past MO is that she would find guys to try and take care of her. Well, now she's with a guy who actually expects her to do something. And she's doing chores. And she's taking care of the house. Otherwise, she actually had jobs. He wasn't putting up with it. He told her just how it was. And she learned. And now she's doing. She's becoming amazing. I'm very proud of her for that. Very proud of her. But yeah, sometimes some people just expect you to keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. My cousin Rick and his girlfriend, because I don't even know what you'd want to call it, but it is considered a common law partner. Lisa is her name. Said some really horrific things to his mom and dad, my aunt and uncle. And I still love my Uncle Bill and Aunt Maggie very much. Although we're just not that close anymore. Just not. But they were expecting them to buy them a new car or just give them a vehicle when all kinds of bad things were going on. It's just like pay for my bills all the time. It's like I hate the fact that my family has to help support us at times. We're pretty bad off poor-wise. But it's one of those things of, I'm looking for work. I'm trying to get work. I have a job coming. I have to wait for the guy to come back from his issue with dealing with his father. And I'm looking at getting paid now in Canadian, which is, you got to imagine it's 1/3 to 1/4 of the price American is going to be taken off. So if I said I get paid $40 an hour, it'd be the equivalent of about 27 to 30 an hour US because of the exchange. Let me say it that way. So I'm going to get 40 to 45 an hour in any web development that I do that I spearhead myself and I lead the project. I get 10% of the overall bid. So if he bids out a project at $50,000, not only do I get 40 to 45 an hour, I get $5,000 off the top. So while that's nice, I'm doing it because I'm doing it for me. I'm not expecting my parents to take care of me. I'm not expecting my son to take care of me. I'm not expecting anybody. I'm doing the work myself. I'm getting paid for my work, my effort. And we want to be responsible in a self-reliant way that makes people. But if you got to go back to, like for some people, I'm going to say right now, there have been times I haven't had enough money. I've had to go to food stamps. No lie. I hated it, but I did it because I had to take care of my family. And then as soon as we could get off of it, we did. So, oh wow. Interesting. Yeah, I'm 47, so that makes me about as young, just a little bit younger than your oldest there. And I'm the oldest of two myself. My brother is 4 years younger than I am. So, these are some things to think about here. I'm looking for time here. It's about 2 minutes here to go. But if you enjoyed what you saw, again, hit the like on there for me. Give me some thumbs up. Looks like I got that. I got a thumbs down on here. Interesting. I don't know who hit the thumbs down. That's interesting. Not that it's fine. It's whatever. At the same time, you know, I hope they are happy in their life and they do what they got to do. But I told my kids the whole time they were growing up that once they left the house, it wouldn't be the same coming back. Oh, God, yeah. Amber, you couldn't have said that better. It's true. We've told them that. Sorry, I thought that was somebody else's chat, but it's true. But if you want to see more, definitely come back. I'll try and have these as often as I can. If you know anybody who would like to hear more about stuff like this, or just I'll put it out there. I can always invite up on the panel. And you guys are always welcome to be here. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. You guys have a great night. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And blessings to everyone out there. I really do. Other than that, let's see here. Anything else you wanted to add, dear, before we go?
I got it in chat.
Yeah, she's got it in chat. Other than that, we'll talk to you guys later.